Hello and welcome back to Space Wizard Science Fantasy Year 5. We have another author interview this week, so I will let him introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Chris Gerrib. I am one of the authors here at Space Wizard Science Fantasy. I'm here plugging my latest book, Gunmaker, a science fiction novel, which Bill is very kindly pointing to, coming out in June, assuming we get it funded, of course. And
Yeah,
glad to be here.
yeah. This one is coming out. It's actually coming out in August, but yes,
Okay.
close. The campaign is running all through June, and then the actual book release will be August 25th. I have on my schedule. So look for that.
Okay.
It'll be one of the first ones released from the campaign though. Starting with actually the cover I don't have on here, and then we'll have Aliens in New Florida, and then we'll have Gunmaker. So very soon after that. So this is not your first book with Space Wizard. You're actually funny story. So you were actually one of the first people who came to me once Space Wizard opened, um, and we talked at I think it was
We
DC
were,
Worldcon.
yeah, we were sitting in DC Worldcon, DisCon 2 or 3, and I should,
Yeah,
if I had planned, I would have worn my DisCon shirt. We were sitting at the patio. It was a very nice, surprisingly mild day.
yeah,
Um, and um, I knew Bill from other writing things, and he just mentioned, oh, I'm starting a science fiction press that publishes queer science fiction. I went, aha, I have one of those. Where can I send it? So
yeah,
I did.
yeah. Sent it in. Yours was yeah, yours was actually the it was the third. I think it was the third book that came out. Let me look at my release schedule real quick because just to make sure. Yeah, it was technically the fourth, but yeah, because we had put out Distant Gardens, which is an anthology technically before I started the press, and then one of series J.S. Field's Argillum books came out, um, and then J.S. Fields has another one, A Ride with Dandelions, was a little short novella, and then yours was the one that came after that. One of our spaceships is missing, and I think this one you said was sort of in the same universe as that one, not really related, but
It's in the same universe, and it's set out in the this solar system on an asteroid, 433 Arrows, which is a real asteroid.
mm,
It's earlier, way earlier in the universe than Spaceships is missing, but it's same space, and we're still little space Mars pirates and all that other good stuff. So
yeah. So if you read that one a few years back with Space Wizard, make sure to get this one. We'll have more fun stuff. I say fun stuff. This actually it's got a bit of heft to it. It's a pretty complex story in there. Um, and obviously it deals with a gun because called Gunmaker. So I guess what were some of the themes, some of the thoughts, why did this book come together for you?
well, it started out as an argument with Tanya Huff. One side argument. I never actually talked to her about it, but she wrote a series of science fiction novels starring a space marine who became a intergalactic cop.
Mhm.
And the intergalactic cop goes undercover at a space station full of pirates. Nobody has a gun. Uh,
Right.
and then there's a later book where nobody knows what a pistol is. I'm like, if
Uh,
you can make a toaster, you can
yeah,
make a gun.
right.
Uh, so that was argument one. And then argument two is I needed some reason for my character to be sympathetic to make a gun as opposed to just being, school shooter.
Right.
And so then it was like you've seen a lot of throughout history. There's people who decide that they're really really smart and they're going to run the world or their part thereof, and then they do their little thing and their experiments go awry. And
Hmm.
this is one of the cases. So
Yeah. So it gets into, I guess not to be spoiler, but it gets into some interesting, concepts with not only guns, but like what is power, who has the power, and like where, um, sort of unions versus corporations, that sort of thing, and how corporations deal with with workers.
yeah, if
So,
you know your history here, I'm in the Chicago area. If you know your history, the Pullman strike,
mhm,
George Pullman, built his own little community town and there was a strike, and he didn't respond very well to it at all. And then if you Google Fordlandia,
Hmm.
uh, Henry Ford created his
Yep.
own um, experimental society in Brazil, and that didn't end well either. So,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I have actually read up on that one. That was pretty horrific. Yeah. Um, that one, I think the isn't like the infrastructure for that still around from Brazil, so or it's been like overgrown or something like that. Um,
well, yeah, I mean, and the Pullman Village is still around too.
yeah.
You can go tour the area. So,
Hmm. Yeah. So long history of, I guess, workers' rights and how they interface with corporations. And we have some good queer content in here. I think both of these, the same universe is sort of a queer normative universe. So you have people of all walks of life. So that fits well with our Space Wizard theme. Um, but I guess tell us a little bit because you've been away from Space Wizard. You got some other books published, and you came back and you've got another one with us. So let us know about other some of the other works you've done. What other things have you put out?
I had, I don't want to say I took a break, but I ended up putting out a uh, non-science fiction novel called Strawberry Gold.
Hmm.
Um, my father, who I love dearly, but who reads one book a year, whether he needs to or not, was like, "You should write a mystery." So I did, and I set it
Yeah.
in Central Illinois in the mid 1980s, and um, it seems to have been successful, and people like it. It's through another press, World Castle, because there is no queer content in that one. I'm sorry, Bill, it just
No, well that's
didn't work
fine. And,
out.
and we do more science fiction and fantasy. Less of we have a few mysteries, but not as much. So yeah.
And then there's another one on that universe coming out next year.
Mhm.
Uh, the third person in the room. So
Oh, cool. Great. So yeah, if you like mysteries and thrillers, you've got, go look up Chris and look up his other stuff that's not Space Wizard, but that's okay. Um, and then you can also get One of Our Spaceships is Missing in this campaign if you want, along with Gunmaker, the new one, and you can compare and contrast and see how the universe develops, or I guess goes backwards because this one's before that one.
it's a prequel. Sorry.
Equal. Yeah. Um, so what other things have you got? Any other ideas or other projects or what's going on next with writing?
Well, I've started the work on the Gunmaker, the sequel,
Hmm.
aka the Quest for More Money. Um, that working title is Asteroid Repo, which might be a little bit of a spoiler of this one, but
Yeah.
um, um, I have like many writers, I've got a couple novels sitting on the hard drive that I'm trying to sell. I've got one, an alien invasion that one of these days I want to dust off and
Hmm.
uh, send Bill's way. But and then other than that, I mean, I'm just kind of plugging along.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, it's always good to have a couple in the back pocket. I guess anything else fun you want to share with us? Any other words of wisdom or anything fun you've been doing?
Well, this you've caught me at a bit of a bad time. My Rotary fundraiser is a week from tomorrow,
Oh, yeah.
and it's our big annual fundraiser, and I'm the guy doing the auction and a lot of logistics. So I'm running around. What is this item you said we got? How much is it? Who's it for? Will it expire? Does it eat?
Yeah.
All that, who's doing what? Where's it going? All this good stuff. I just got back from a Rotary District conference this weekend for our
Yeah.
Rotary District, and played my first round of golf in like 5 years. And uh, the first hole was really bad, and the second hole was better. And then but anyway, it was a nice time. So yeah, right now. I'm just kind of, and I've got my day job going on. I've got my day job computer over there. So
Yeah. Right.
you know,
Right. Of course, there's always the dreaded day job.
yes.
But
So
yeah. Okay, and you do a lot of work with Rotary use, right? With you have your own Rotary club, right?
yes.
And I sort of hear about it tangentially on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah, so Rotary is an international service organization. And where there's lots of local clubs. I think 35,000 local
Oh,
clubs. Each club does their own thing, and I'm a key member of the Darien, Illinois club.
very nice.
So I'm
Good.
busy.
Yeah. So if you're in Illinois, there's good work there with the Rotary Club.
Well, there's
Uh,
Rotary clubs in where you're at too. We can get you
well,
in a
yes,
Rotary club.
but if you want to see Chris,
Yes.
there you go. All right. Any other? words of wisdom or anything else going on with you, or anything fun with this book? Any Easter eggs or anything you want to lay out for this one?
Not really any Easter eggs. I mean, and Bill's right. This is a little darker book than some of my previous ones.
Hmm.
So but there's, I think it talks about you may feel some similarities with real people that are running around today, some of
Yeah.
which are building rocket ships. I'll
Uh-huh.
just leave it at that. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so if you want to see potential people with a lot of money maybe getting some comeuppance
yes,
that is very needed, check out Gunmaker in the campaign. So we'll be running. This should be coming out the end of April. So we have a month left. The campaign's going to start at the end of May, May 28th, run through June. We will have 8 amazing books. This is one of them, and you'll be able to get this one. We may do some packages with like sequels and things. If you want to get like one of our spaceships is missing in Gunmaker, you can always pick up an extra book if you want as well. And then, of course, you can get the subscription, which gets you all of the 8 books that are coming out new from Space Wizard. So, all right, that is it for this time. Thank you very much for talking about your book, and I'll let you get back to Rotary and job and all that fun stuff.
thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Sure.
Bye bye.